Well, good evening, YouTube audience. I've just been having a short discussion with my great Twitter audience, and we are available on Twitter as well under @UNindoctrinate. You can join the 115,000 followers plus that we have there. We'd really enjoy having you on that channel as well. And I have a discussion tonight that, well, it's out of the box for me. It is breaking my paradigms. It's stretching my boundaries, and it's really out of what I would have formerly considered my comfort zone. But as I've always said, there is no growth in your comfort zone. So it's time to move out of comfort zones and talk about things that we've never talked about before. After all, this is new cosmic knowledge, and new cosmic knowledge can't be the same old stuff, can it? No. It certainly cannot. So tonight I want to talk to you for a while about 5G or OG. What if the trees in the Garden of Eden really spoke? Have you ever even considered such a crazy idea? Have you ever even considered such a possibility? It's pretty amazing, isn't it? And it's not as preposterous, as crazy, as outlandish as it might seem. So let's talk about this. Let's look at this. And I have to give a great shout out to Deborah L. Smith, Breaking Dawn. She's going to be working with me a lot in the future. And we're going to be bringing her on the channel to talk about some of these, I think, groundbreaking 5D type of understandings. And she's the one that put me on to this, and she's the one that started me down this road. And I thought that I would scratch the surface or put the first shovel in the ground without her, because I really just can't keep it contained within me. It's great news. It's great information. And I want to talk to you about it, and I want to share it with you. And we're going to dive right in tonight, right from the get-go. And I probably won't be looking at the chat as much as I normally do, so I'm hoping that some of the moderators in there can kind of keep right herd on things if it needs be. So as we're talking about the trees possibly really speaking, start to consider that and consider these things that we're going to look at within that context. I think you'll be surprised. And this is Psalm 19, number 1, and it says, "The heavens declare the glory of the Elohim," as you'll see, "and the firmament shows their handiwork." So we're going to go right up into the interlinear, as we always do, and this is the stuff you miss on Twitter. I wish you'd go over to the YouTube channel so you can see this. And what we're seeing here is it's the heavens. Well, what are the heavens? What are they actually talking about? They're talking about the heavens, the sky. They're talking about the heavens and the sky. That's the definition of the word. So what we're seeing is that the heavens and the skies do what? They declare. What does declare mean? They tell. Wait a minute. The heavens and the skies tell. The heavens and the skies recount. The heavens and the skies relate. How many times have you recounted a story to someone? What were you doing? You were talking to them, weren't you? How many times have you related a story to someone? What were you doing? You were talking with them, weren't you? Is this verse saying that the very heavens themselves talk, declare, relate to us about the glorious the glorious Elohim? And that the firmament, and I hate to disappoint my flat earth friends, but it just means the extended surface. It means the expanse. It means the whole of heaven. And the whole of heaven shows or declares the work of the Elohim. So what this verse is saying to us very plain and very clearly, and because we have a child over here on Twitter, I've got to shut down the chat for everybody on Twitter. Give me a break, because we got a 5-year-old that can't control himself. there, and maybe he'll go back and anyway. So what this verse is saying is that the very heavens themselves, the skies, the stars, talk to us about the glorious Elohim, and that the very construction of this earth talks to us about the greatness of God. Oh, well, Jeff, of the creators. Oh, Jeff, that's just one verse. You can't really make a big doctrine on that one verse. Well, I probably agree with you there. So let's go to the book of Isaiah. In the book of Isaiah, let's go to the 55th chapter of the book of Isaiah. And I think this one is going to be very strong and powerful to you. And we go to the 12th verse. And it says, "For you will go out with joy. You'll be led forth with peace. The mountains and the hills." What are mountains and hills made out of? They're made out of rocks, crystals. And they're going to break forth before you into singing. And the trees of the field clap hands. Let's look at that in the interlinear and see exactly what that's saying to us. 55 and verse number 12. "For with joy, with gladness, with mirth, you're going to be led forth." You're going to go out with joy. You're going to go out with peace, which is completeness, soundness, welfare. You're going to be led forth. You're going to be brought by the mountains. You're going to be brought forth by the hills. You're going to be brought forth by the trees. This verse is saying literally that the information that is provided to us by the mountains, rocks, crystals, the information that's provided to us from the hills, rocks, crystals, metals, minerals. This verse is saying that the information provided to us by the trees will cause us to have joy, will cause us to have peace, and will lead us into a life and a manifestation of life that's characterized by joy and peace. The hills shall break forth. What does that mean? It means to break forth into singing, to burst forth, to break forth into singing. The hills are even going to be articulating to you. And the trees of the field clap. What does that mean, to clap? That means, to clap just like that. And they're clapping their hands. Well, do trees have hands? Well, no, but they do make noise. What happens when you clap? You make noise. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is telling us that right now, the heavens themselves and the things in them are declaring to us the glorious Elohim, the glorious divinity. It's telling us that even the mountains, the hills, the rocks, the crystals, the trees are singing out right now, doing their best to communicate to us information about the glorious Elohim, the glorious divinities. But for some reason, ladies and gentlemen, we're not listening. If you need a little bit more, let's go back to the book of Psalms. We're going to go to Psalm 96. Psalm 96. Come on, work with me. Here we go. Psalm 96 and verse number 40. We're going to just go King James here. Bless God, because that's what, or Psalm 96:12. "Let the field be joyful and all that is therein. Then shall all of the trees of the wood rejoice." Verse 12. Folks, this is powerful teaching. This is really new cosmic knowledge. Let the field, what's in the field? Trees, grass, vegetation. Let it be joyful. Let it exult. What do you do when you exult? You praise. "And let all that is in the trees rejoice." What do you do when you rejoice? You make a ringing cry of joy. "And then all the trees of the wood." The trees, ladies and gentlemen, what's he talking about? He's talking about wood. He's talking about trees. trees that are wood, big woods, trees of the forest. These trees, ladies and gentlemen, are declaring to you joyful, rejoicing information. But you're not listening. Why? And let me show you one more here from the book of Luke. And I always thought this was metaphorical, but I'm not so sure anymore. I think it's actually literally true. This is the master. He's speaking here in Luke 19 and verse number 40. People are saying Jeff's lost his mind, but you can see Jeff is still in the text, and he's giving you the text plain and clear. And the master answered to them and said, I tell you this, if you folks don't praise me, and the master didn't want praise. What did he want? He wanted people to tell about his message. And the master is saying, look, if you don't tell my message, these stones will immediately cry out. Verse number 40. If you don't tell the message, he says that these stones will cry out. These stones will do what? They will cry aloud. They will shriek. So it is replete within the New Testament. It is replete within the Old Testament. And not the dung part, the diamond part, that the heavens, the trees, the rocks, the crystals, the mountains, the vegetation, they speak to us. What if they're speaking right now and we are not bothering to listen? Who's losing out? Well, everybody's losing out. And let me just tie a bow on this. This is going to blow your mind. I'm going to tie a bow on this if I can get this thing to work for me. Hosea, Joel, and there he is. We're going to tie a bow on this. Job 12, 7 through 10. Job 12, verses 7 through 10. Now, let's go back and just read it from the King James Version, bless God. Job 12, King James Version. I said Job 12, King James Version. There we go. Job 12, verse number 7. Oh, Jeff, you're not going to go there, are you? Ask the beast. They'll teach you. The birds of the air, they will tell you. Speak to the earth, and it will teach you. The fishes of the sea will declare unto you. The soul of every living thing, the breath of all mankind. Ladies and gentlemen, we're missing out on truth that the beasts want to teach us because we think we're so smart that we don't have to listen to a beast. We're missing out on truth from the fowls of the air because we think we're so smart that we don't have to listen to the fowls of the air. We're missing out from wisdom from the earth because we think we're so smart we don't have to listen to the earth. We're missing out on wisdom from the creatures of the sea because we think we're so smart we don't have to listen to them. We're missing out on wisdom from the heavens because we think we're so smart. We're missing out on heavens from the trees, from the rocks, from the crystals, because we think we're so smart. They're teaching us. They're trying to tell us what's going on. They're trying to give us information. Why do you think there's such a big push for 5G right now? Why do you think there's such a big push for 5G? What is 5G going to do? 5G is supposed to give us an interconnected world, right? The whole world can be interconnected because it's 5G and Trump's going to make it go everywhere. Folks, don't you realize there's already a worldwide communication network, and there's been one as long as there's been a world? There's a worldwide communication network among the heavens. There's a worldwide communication network among the trees. I know there's a lot of cell towers out there. Have you ever compared the number of cell towers to the number of trees? And if more cell towers equals better connectivity and coverage, then what does more trees equal? There's an information network that dwarfs the internet that's being communicated and broadcasted right now by the trees. There's a communication network that broadcasts right now far more information than comes from 5G or if they ever get to 10G. From the trees, the rocks, the crystals. Holding a crystal in your hand and listening to it will give you information. And this is too foo-foo for you. Don't you know that scientists have already discovered that millions and multitudes of bytes can be stored within a crystal? More than can be stored in these silicon chips. There's information in the stones, the trees, the vegetation, the hills, the mountains, the beasts. The beasts know. They will talk to you, just like Dr. Dolittle. The fish know. They'll talk to you, not just Flipper. 5G is trying to replace the OG, the original generation. The original generation. We don't need 5G. We just need to learn how to listen to the OG. And this should give you the understanding of why they're trying to make 5G everywhere. And what are they chopping down to make 5G? Trees. What are they chopping down to bury fiber and cable? Trees. What are they tearing up to bury all this cable and all this fiber underground? Rocks, earth. How arrogant, how foolish, how silly we have been. And how stupid we are if we don't begin to listen right now. Get you some crystals, hold them, listen to them. Go out and talk to a tree. Go out and communicate. Why do you think they don't want us barefoot? Because when you're standing on the sand, which is crystals, when you're standing on the grass, which is living, you're going to receive communication about the amazing totality of the divinity and of who you are and what you are. Let's go back real quick to the story of Genesis, where where's my Bible hub? Here it is. Let's go back to Genesis chapter 3. I want to show you something. And I'll probably close with this. Genesis 3:22. Man, and notice who said this, Yaldabaoth, Yahweh, Jehovah, Marduk, the rat bastard said, man is becoming like one of us. Because he knew that man was created to become like one of who he used to be, which was an Elohim. They're starting to know both good and evil. Let's get him away from the tree of life. Let's get him away from that so he can't learn forever. Because obviously, if we were learning and knowing knowledge, then we were already communicating with the tree of knowledge. Let's go to verse 20. Let's go to 22 in the interlinear. This is transformational information, ladies and gentlemen. And I was in a little bit of a down mood when I came on, but it just shows you doing the thing gives you the power. You don't have to feel great to go forth and do what you're supposed to do. But if you go and do what you're supposed to do, you'll feel great. I guarantee it. The man has become. The man is becoming. The man is becoming as one of us, one of the Elohim. He was still talking like he was an Elohim, but he wasn't. Knowing, knowing, understanding, both good and evil. What was that tree called? The knowledge of good and evil. Yahweh didn't want us learning about good, because when we know about good, we would know about what was beautiful. And by the way, it's a feminine verb. If we know about what is good, we would know about what is beautiful. It just said it. And if we knew about what was evil, we would know about what was adverse to what? Adverse to good, adverse to beauty. And we would know by knowing what good is or beauty is and what evil is or the opposite of evil, we would know that Yahweh was the opposite of beautiful. Yahweh was the opposite of good. And because they already know this now they know, now they're about to comprehend that I'm not good and I'm evil. This is Yahweh himself saying this. Now that they know that I'm evil and they know that I'm not good, oh my goodness, what's going to happen if they actually get in touch with the tree of life and eat? What does it mean? Does he really mean eat? Eat, have eaten, consume, devour. Have you ever consumed or devoured a book or some information or a TV series? What if they begin to devour the tree of life? What's the tree of life? The tree, again, feminine, the tree of age, the tree of the living, the tree of divinity itself. What if they begin now having the knowledge? What if they get into the tree of divinity itself? We were this close, ladies and gentlemen, this close, Twitter, this close, YouTube. Back in the days when this was written, we were this close to getting our Elohim on. We were this close to get to 5D, and all we had was the OG. We don't need 5G. We are already almost at 5D with OG. 5D is here to trip you up and to keep you bound up, to keep you distracted from OG. Oh, I got to have the fastest. Go to the original generation. Go to the original network. It's far more ubiquitous than 5G. It's far more powerful than 5G. It contains far more information than 5G. Go back to the OG, ladies and gentlemen, and then watch what happened. Watch what happened. Watch what happened. And so he said, get out of this garden, kicked us out of the garden, drove us into a pen, a place, this is a pen, drove us into a pen, and then what did he do? I need to use my inside voice. He set a guard with a flaming sword over the tree of life. And they've been guarding it ever since. And knowing now that we're back to this place where we're about to understand the knowledge of good and evil, I CWB'd you to death. Now we're new NCKing you. You know that he is not a good God. You know he's an evil God. You know that we're this close to getting our Elohim back on. The hell with 5G. We're about to go 5D over the OG if we can get back to the OG. And 5G is just the latest flaming sword to try to guard us from the tree of life. 5G is just the latest flaming sword to try to guard us and to keep us from reaching the tree of life, of knowledge. We've already got both of them. Both those trees are being guarded by a fear and guilt control matrix, guarded by 5G interconnectivity. The idea is to keep you so entertained, to keep you so on, making pictures of yourself, to keep you so checking your Facebook, to keep you so checking your Twitter. I'm guilty of it. To keep you so checking your YouTube, to keep you so checking your Instagram. I'm on there now too. Serpent and Dove 11, Sandra and I's combined channel. Jeff Darty Show, my page. And I'm not saying it's bad. 5G can make a great servant, but 5G makes a terrible master. 5G, I use 5G, and I'm getting connected to the OG as never before. You can do it too, but you have to realize what kind of a game they're running on you. You have to realize what type of a scam they're running on you. We need to go OG, original generation, the true communication network. No, it's not as easy as picking up one of these cell phones that I'm broadcasting over Twitter. No, it's not as easy as picking up one of these keyboards that I've got right here and typing away. No, it's not as easy as picking up a laptop or a tablet. You have to meditate like Sandra tries to teach you to. You have to shut up and listen and get yourself dialed in. You've got to do the inner work. It's easy to 5G. Any idiot can 5G, like these people over here on Twitter that I had to shut off the chat for because they can even 5G. You can literally get a monkey to 5G if you got enough bananas. That's funny. You cannot get something as good as the OG easy. Anything worth having is worth working for. That which we attain too easily, we revere too lightly. Nothing good comes easily, says Michelle Canham Free. The heavens, the trees, the hills, the rocks, the crystals, the grass, the animals, the birds. They're broadcasting right now in OG. Completely free, without cost. The only devices you need to pick it up is this one and this one. What are you waiting for? I just wish I could understand life. Well, then listen. I just wish I could understand. Then listen. Quit whining and start listening. Get off the 5G and get on the OG. What if the trees in the Garden of Eden really spoke? I think they did. And not only that, I'm sure that the trees and the rocks and the grass and the crystals are still talking because they talk to me. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Thanks to Deborah L. Smith, Breaking Dawn, I'm starting to listen, and it's transforming my life. And John Glenn is, I think he's kind of, I think he's kind of mocking me, but it's hilarious. Stop yapping and start listening. Exactly. This is how you guide your own spirit. This is how you master your own ascension. This is how you be your own guru. This is how you ask questions. This is how you question answers. This is how you discover you're divine, you're sovereign, you're free. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is how you unindoctrinate yourself.